I mean, we talked about this with Godzilla Minus One in our first episode. That was one of those films where there was a really good mixture of like soundstage as well as like CGI and stuff like that, but they also use a lot of practical effects. I feel like those kinds of films are kind of rare and special in themselves these days.
Well, we talked about one film today that was all, not the whole film is all practical, but a lot of what happens in that film is practical, and that's Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's new film. And he insisted that things be built out, and especially the laboratory was the big one. That whole laboratory is all practical.
See, and that's probably why this film is so good. I mean, maybe we'll do an episode about it. But
absolutely.
This was our off time talking.
And Robert Forrester is a person that looks like they're walking down the hall of this massive dormitory in this giant haunted ship.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Gosh, it's such a good ghost story.
Well, hey, Gretchen.
Hey, we're back at it.
Yes, we are. We are back with a new episode, and what I think this is going to be a really great episode because we get to talk about a really great movie, which is your choice, and it is
The Black Hole.
The Black Hole from 1979.
Oh man, I was a little kid in this one.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit beforehand. I saw this in a movie theater.
I did too, but it was second run theater. Mm-hmm. So there was one of the city. I lived in Memphis when I was a little kid, and I saw it in I want to say it was 1981 or something like that.
Yeah.
So still a little kid, and I'm not probably the age appropriate for this film as most Disney normal Disney films at this era.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, I am excited to be talking about this. And for anyone who does or doesn't know, this is the Check the Gate podcast where Gretchen and I watch a movie and then we get together and talk about it, but we never know where the conversation is going to go because we just love talking about movies. And I just love talking about movies with you. So, this is going to be so much fun. I don't even know where to begin or what to even cover. This is going to be
so many ways. Because, one of the reasons I picked this film, beyond the fact that, so for me, it's a huge nostalgia hit. And then I know we like to talk about, especially me, I like to talk about horror films often. And so a lot of my picks are horror films. This one, besides the Godzilla ones, this one I picked because it's one of those, it has such a weird background. Mm-hmm. It's all over the place. It's kind of a miracle that it even got made. And it was a play into many things of the era of its time.
Yeah. So it's all over the place, but in a good way.
Right.
It all does come together.
But it does. It took them a good 5 years before they could get it together. Because it started off as I think it was pitched as the Poseidon Adventure in space.
Yep.
And it had multiple working titles. One was I think Space Station 1.
It had some goofy ones where it's come on.
What was it? Space Station 1 was the most bland one. And then there was one I think called there
was one where I read it, and it was in the trivia section on IMDb.
Phase 1. It wasn't Phase 1. That was because that's too close to...
It was it sounded like some kind of 1950s throwback, This Island Earth kind of a title. It was just bizarre where it sounded weird, and it was wow, somebody was throwing that around. That's kind of weird.
From space colonies to not space colonies to a disastered crew, and it's had a lot of iterations. So I think that's kind of another reason why I picked this film, because there are so many things about it in filmmaking that we love to talk about.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everything from miniatures and, it's
so many miniatures and models.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Do you want to set up the premise of the film?
Sure.
Once you do that, then it's everything's on the table. I'm just going to talk about it.
So this film is literally, as we were talking about, a disaster film. But so where we're at is it's a crew of a spaceship that are in space. What are they? I think they're on like a journey. Like,
The USS Palomino, they're a research ship.
they're a research ship. That's right. Because I'm like, where are we at plot wise? There's so many other things to talk about. Yeah, so they're on the USS Palomino.
USS Palomino.
Because they're treated like a Navy ship.
Yeah.
And they are on a research journey and basically come across a abandoned ship that's on the edge of a black hole. And they kind of doing a little bit of like research and background. They figure out that it is a lost ship that they had that was like I think regarded as being like a
it was this huge research vessel that was sent out to be. It was like the cutting edge
right,
of
and they were
science
expecting
at
it to,
the time.
and it just got lost. And then no one
for like 20 years.
They figured everybody was dead on the ship or
Right.
whatever the case may be, and this is where our journey begins. Our intrepid cast of great character actors.
Oh, so many.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, do I need to keep? I'll keep going on premise. So they find the ship, and all hell ensues.
Yeah.
Essentially,
That's a perfect setup.
yes. I know. I'm like the plot is like the minor aspect of this movie. Honestly.
Oh,
'Cause it's
I love
all-
the plot of it. The plot works so
It's
well
so
with the
simple,
cast of
but it's
characters
so
that we have
simple.
and everything.
It's so simple until you get into the more like metaphysical aspects of it.
Yeah.
The
This
more
film,
philosophical.
it does. It gets
foray.
weird and philosophical and crazy, and it's
Yeah.
got horror elements. It's got this magnificent orchestral score with an overture in it. And
One of the last, I think the other film
yeah.
was like what Star Trek, the motion picture.
motion picture, yeah, that came out in 1980. So
That was
yeah,
the
these
last
were kind of
two overture films.
yeah,
That ever happened.
which is crazy. I didn't realize that.
It was went out of fashion, man. There's lots of stuff that's like sad but true about like films in general that we've lost to the ages of like needing a shorter attention span.
Attention span, yeah, you got to get to it. I often joke, it's you got to get Liam Neeson over the fence, but it takes 17 shot angles to do it. It's just because everybody's just like, what are we doing here? We can't spend any kind of time with anything. It seems
No, they're
like
so like
yeah.
neck breaking.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I think this is has a lot of those old Hollywood elements to it. I mean, like I said at the very beginning, it's a miracle this movie got made because looking at where it came from to where it ended up is
yeah.
something else.
Well, you talked about the cast of characters, the character
yeah.
actors. So we might as well just jump into that because that's some of the most fun stuff to talk about.
The best thing was the surprise for the audience was
Yeah.
seeing Anthony Hopkins stepping out of his role as Norman Bates to the mild-mannered doctor.
Yeah, kind of an odd sycophant scientist that's on this ship.
He was quite a follower of Maximilian,
Yeah, Dr. Reichart.
Dr. Reichart.
Yeah. Well-
Reinhardt, right? Yeah.
Reichart, isn't it?
Oh, Reichart? Okay.
Yeah. Or Reinhardt? It might be Reinhardt.
I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it's Reinhardt.
Because all I remember is that they renamed the robot with the spelling of his name because the actor is Maximilian.
Well, I saw two things about that. Is there's a giant robot in this thing called Maximilian, and there was two entries in IMDb, and one that said that Maximilian was named the robot before they had hired him as the actor.
Really?
But then another
They changed the
IMDb
spelling
entry.
then.
And that might have been, and then because there was another entry that had said that he was named after the actor. So I don't know which one of those is accurate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
I think that's one
really
of those left to pontificate over
right
kind of situations.
Yeah, like it matters. It's Maximilian
Right.
Schell who's in there, like James Bond villain and
All right, again,
actor and
Ernest
decades.
Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine.
Robert Forster,
Robert Forster.
who I love.
Absolutely. Oh man,
Love him.
So he's such a great loss now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good in this one. And Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens, Roddy McDowall.
Roddy McDowall, both of them voices of robots.
Lemieux, she's a Disney actor.
Yes.
So for me, she doesn't really have a standout look. The woman that they had cast originally.
Yeah, she got in a car accident after she cut all her hair off.
Well, that was the thing, is that they were trying to shoot these scenes about like upside down, like anti-gravity scenes, but she had really long hair. She was actually, was it Jane?
She was known for her hair.
What was her name? Jane?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
But she had her personal hairdresser Vidal Sassoon.
Right.
Cutting her hair short, and so she was drinking wine while getting her hair cut. This is at least the legend behind it.
Talking herself through it,
yeah. Because they told her she had to cut her hair because the long hair wasn't working for all the scenes.
Right.
And so she's drinking, they're cutting her hair. She's drinking, they're cutting her hair. And then she goes home and gets into a car accident.
Yeah, and is laid up so bad she couldn't be on set.
Yeah, so then Mimiu, she cut her hair. I was like, why didn't they just use a wig?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking. And I don't, maybe they, so good wigs can be very expensive. I don't know what the price was to have somebody cut their hair. You know, that's a classic with Sigourney Weaver. She got an extra, I want to say $5 million to shave her head for Alien Cube.
Legit.
Yeah. So it very well could be that at that time in 77, 78, when they're trying to film this thing, and those actors they may not have had the leverage to be able to get the kind of money that they wanted out of Disney. I don't know, but I know wigs can be expensive, but it's like, aren't wigs cheaper than asking a famous person to shave their head?
I guess. I mean,
yeah.
But,
not even shave their head, just cut their hair short.
Right. And then, like Sigourney Weaver was actually supposed to be that character originally.
Right.
She went in to be cast, and Disney literally said, your name is so unattractive on a billing.
Right. Yep. And then she did.
How dumb are they?
Yeah, and then she does Alien that comes out 7 months earlier and is a massive hit.
Iconic character, and basically sets the standard for women in science fiction films.
Absolutely.
Wow. Talk about a missed opportunity.
Oh, man. Yeah. Disney done fucked up on that one. Big time. Somehow they recovered.
Somehow. Didn't they buy it? They own it now, right?
Right, yeah. Probably. I think
I think because Aliens is now part of their stuff, right?
It probably is because they just ran that series that was Alien Earth.
Oh yeah, it was so.
Wasn't that on FX?
It was on Hulu. Yeah.
Hulu FX. Yeah. Then that's owned by the Disney Corporation. Yep. So they own all of that.
Back.
Man, that's a hard road and an expensive way to get Sigourney Weaver back into your barn, but I guess. Yeah. See, we knew all along.
Right. We were just playing the long game.
Yeah, the long game with Sigourney Weaver. Well, and does Disney pay into Avatar?
I don't know.
Because I know that's all James Cameron, but I don't know if they've got a little bit of money in that pot with him or not.
I mean, they might. I mean, all the stuff's pretty incestuous, right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's like 3 corporations own everything.
Well, back in the day when this one was made, there was a lot of hands in the pot, but as far as went through writing changes, and it went through script changes, and it was originally
meant to be an all zero gravity film, and it just got to be too problematic. Yeah, it was too difficult.
I think James Forrester is quoted as saying that the harnesses that they had to wear were ball breakers. I love him, by the way. So have you ever seen the movie Alligator?
No, wait, have I?
What?
I may have a long time ago, not all of it, because that's the one, the original ones where they flushed the little baby gator down the toilet, and then that's the one.
He's in it.
I think I did see that one, but it's been so long ago, I don't remember much of it.
Yeah, he has this great because during that movie he's losing his hair, and people keep commenting on it in the movie.
As part of the script, he's losing his hair?
Yeah, so he's got to be at a good sense of humor or something like that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they put that in because he was like, you know what, I'm losing my hair, we might as well address this.
Right.
And so it was such a funny little low key joke that kept a running joke that kept happening throughout the entire movie. That there is a scene where he's like having a romantic moment with like the female lead in the movie, and he's like, well, you know, I just don't feel like, or something to the effect of like feeling like he's like, because I'm getting older and losing my hair, and he finally like addresses it because there are other people like throughout the movie that are going, that are saying things like, you know, oh, you know, I could part your hair differently and that would cover up a little bit of that. And he was just like, it's just such a silly, but it's so endearing. And that's like one of the, I think that's when I was like, I'm a big Robert Forster fan. Like, yeah, constantly. I'll be his fan from now on.
He's kind of one of those actors. There's a bunch of them throughout my life where I'm like, oh, this person's in it. I'm going to enjoy them even if I don't enjoy the rest of this.
And he plays like such good, like this kind of character. Like he's a good like hero lead kind of. He's a good leading man in this, I feel like.
He is.
He's not the most handsome, but I think he's quite handsome.
Well, he is. I think he has all of the potential that could have been given over to a leading man character.
Yeah.
I think there are choices in this film in some of the action sequences that don't sell things very well, and it probably. But I mean, everyone's got those in their resume. But he had already been an actor for like about a dozen years, I think, at this point in time.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah, because he was doing a show that the reason why they even got cast for this is they was doing a TV series that one of the director liked, and so they picked him up.
Yeah, and the director had done a ton of television.
Yeah.
They're just like, this is a classic one.
That's pretty much like why he's not really a known director per se. Like as far as the Hollywood standard, he's not a very like well-known director.
Right.
I would say.
But an extremely prolific. Yeah, there continues to be. There is a world of directors that people may not know by name or even by style, but they're just like solid and they work all the time.
Yeah.
And he was one of those or directors, excuse me.
And it's got to be magic that when you find out a director's name. I mean, honestly, like the standard populace of like the normal moviegoer that's not like a, movie fan or whatever. Do they even know directors? Like, do they follow specific directors, or unless it's something like this, your Spielbergs or whatever?
Right.
I feel like people don't do that anymore.
I don't find that a lot of people know a lot of directors. Like they know the names.
Are we the weird ones?
Well, we are, but yeah, because
that's why we do this show.
But my aspiration is to be a working director. Like I don't want to be a famous director. I don't want to be a rich director. I want to be a working director. Like, sure. I would just love to work. I just love all of this so very much that I would just love to do this all the time. So I'm aware of those directors. And so like one of the best opportunities I ever had was I got to spend a day shadowing a couple of directors while I was on Grimm, and there was one director that I got to shadow and say his name. Nobody knows who they are, but you go back and look, and they have directed all of these major series. And a lot of times when they weren't the showrunner, they were still getting a lot of the big linchpin episodes, which usually the showrunners are the ones that direct those so that they can set the tone. Mm-hmm. And like this person was doing all of this stuff, and you drop their name, nobody has any idea. And then my first episode of working on Grimm in production was literally with the director who directed my favorite episode of Firefly. He was literally directing the first episode of Grimm that I'm in production on, and I'm like, holy cow, it's like, that's what, and people are like, who's that? What? So what? He's done a couple of episodes of Grimm. They're like, so what, big deal? I'm like, no, that guy did Out of Gas. That's like the greatest Firefly episode. People are like, I don't know what Firefly is. I'm like, you don't know what Firefly is? And that's that guy. And like, and I didn't get to, so yeah, it is us to a large degree. Even in people who work on sets don't even know sometimes the people they're around. I worked with one director who...
We're nerds.
Absolutely. And I'm having my nerd moment. And he like dropped the show that he had worked on, and I said, "Oh yeah, Powers, that was great." I said, and he's like, "Wait, you saw that?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the graphic novel series. Michael Oeming, Brian Michael Bendis, like Powers is fantastic." And he's like, "What'd you think of the show?" And I'm like, "Well, the show doesn't really hang really well with the graphic novel. Like, I mean, I love what's going on. I love the people that are in it. I just don't think it's true to what the stories are. But I'm watching the whole thing." And he's like, "Well, thank you for watching it, because I don't think anyone else is." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So, yeah, you and I pay more attention to certain things than other folks do.
Speaking of those kind of elements, I mean, honestly, there are those in this film.
Yeah. Sorry, we got to bring it back to
the
subject.
Hey.
I'm off on my own little rabbit
That's all
trail.
right. I thought I would bring it back to the black hole.
Oh, that's right. That was the movie we were talking about.
Well, I was saying, I feel like it was such a cool, like there are so many cool elements in this. Like they use the use of miniatures, the use of, like, I was reading this thing about how they shot the black hole itself, that it was a tank that was lit by 18 lights, and they were dropping paint into it, and it got so hot that it exploded. But like,
Perfect.
It's such a beautiful effect. Like
Yeah.
the way those kind of elements of filmmaking were done, this would all be like completely CGI'd. Like they created a crane. I figured you would know more about this. They created an entire camera system.
Yeah.
Like a stationary camera that could do a slow movement that kept all of those amazing miniatures in stasis, like with the moving background. I thought that was amazing, because there are so many elements about this. Like, I think what appealed to me is it had such a Gothic cathedral, like it's described as looking like Notre Dame, like the way that it's eerily lit. There are so many things, like just exteriorly, that every time I see it, I go, "Oh my God, like this is why I love this movie."
Yeah.
This is in my top 100 films for sure.
And it plays into that trippy ending too. All of this stuff that you're setting up.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get to the whole ending and the trippy ending that happens on it.
Yeah, it's the matte paintings. That was also part of the that camera mechanism system, right?
Right.
That it was using matte. They would use matte paintings and then have a slow stationary formatting where you could move. They were moving the spaceships, right? Am I correct on that? And then they had lit everything from inside to give it instead of looking like it was being lit out, they wanted it lit from inside to give it more of an eerie, like stained glass look, to kind of adding to that cathedral. I mean, gosh, there are these gorgeous scenes where they're standing in hallways that are like going on forever, and it's just haunting and so beautiful. And we don't see that kind of thing anymore, with like the use of matte paintings. And honestly, we always talk about matte paintings in the show because I feel like that's something that for us is such a nostalgic Hollywood and like an element of filmmaking that I feel like is an art form that's lost. I mean, the only more recent time that I've seen matte paintings in use is things like kaiju films. I mean, the guy who did Gamera, director of Gamera, he still uses, before he passed away, he was still using matte paintings.
Yeah, and that was the 90s.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and it's like, and he did a painting for like a small film recently that was like, Howl Beyond the Fog, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, there are so many just beautiful hand textural things about this film, like everywhere from like the rolling, like the asteroids, how they did that. I mean, so amazing. Like it was like on a rig that was like a ball of light, and they were physically rolling it. It was just you don't see that kind of thing anymore. With
Right.
Practical effects.
Yeah, they were really pushing the limits, and a lot of that was so like that camera rig you were talking about. The camera rig that they wanted to be able to use was the one
Right.
that Lucasfilm had made for Star Wars.
What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was too expensive, and they were like, "All right, screw those guys. We're gonna go make our own." And then they did, and it became their industry standard then for like a decade or so that they built everything else off and
Incredible.
improved. Yeah, and and it's weird to be in a position to say Disney couldn't afford a thing.
Yeah.
So they went and made their own. Yeah. Can we talk about the miniatures for a while?
Absolutely. There's so many uses of them, and multiple aspects of it.
Well, and it's actually you were talking about the matte paintings. I think we should stick with matte paintings for a while because that also leads into the sets. So the matte paintings and the sets, because those are amazing.
Right.
It's so great. I remember the one particular spot where Robert Forster, so we're well into our story. We kind of don't know what the bad intentions are of Reinhardt, but everybody knows something's kind of up. Things aren't really figuring. And the situation had been that there was a massive crew that was on there, and Reinhardt had said, the crew left because the ship was broken down and listing and it was a problem. And so everybody, and his story is, I thought they all just made it home. They must have made it home. But I made all of these automaton robots and these Sentry robots here, and that's what does everything. So people start thinking things are really fishy, stories aren't lining up. And Robert Forster and Ernest Borgnine are starting to follow around some of these little automaton creatures and like, this is not making sense. Why is this happening? And I remember there's one spot where Robert Forster walks into basically like a dormitory. Mm-hmm. And it's this huge hallway with all of these open rooms. They don't even have doors on them. They're all just open to each other, and inside is a desk and a bed and personal items. And of course he's going through and looking at all the personal items, but it was an old enough piece where I could see where the floor stopped and the matte painting began, but it was done so well. It's only because 1979 was far enough back and that like I was watching this on a 4K TV.
Oh yeah,
and
same.
I just recognize that stuff now, but it doesn't take it away from me because I see that and it's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Because even with where the line was, they had still built out all of these dormitory rooms up to there, and it's like, man, that's fantastic.
Do they build sets like this anymore? I mean, like.
They do sometimes. A lot of times, it depends on the movies.
We talk about this with Godzilla -1 in our first episode. That was one of those films where there was a really good mixture of like soundstage as well as like CGI and stuff like that. But they also use a lot of practical effects. I feel like those kinds of films are kind of rare and special in themselves these days.
Well, we talked about one film today that was all not the whole film is all practical, but a lot of what happens in that film is practical, and that's Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's new film. And he insisted that things be built out, and especially the laboratory was the big one. That whole laboratory is all practical.
See, and that's probably why this film is so good. I mean, maybe we'll do an episode about it. But
absolutely.
This was our like off time talking.
The ship, that ship is fully built.
Yeah.
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 So people do still try to insist and have that actual tactile physical space in there. I think it makes a really big difference. And I've heard some people say, well, it's really difficult with the green screen in the world because a lot of times you're talking to a tennis ball. Well, when you're a person that's on a soundstage and you're looking at something from your perspective that is clearly a wall that has been painted, that can be distracting too. But the people that are actors know how to act, and they can pull this off, whether they're talking to a tennis ball on a green wall or they're talking to a painting or looking that way.
True.
And Robert Forster is a person that looks like they're walking down the hall of this massive dormitory in this giant haunted ship.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Gosh. It's such a good ghost story.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like still talking about like the paintings and the sets. I mean, that this was they used more matte paintings in this than they used in Mary Poppins, and that one had won like an award was it like a Guinness Award or something like that?
Yeah.
For the use of matte painting. But they did that. I mean, like that's how much effort went into it.
Yeah. This
incredible.
film was a really massive undertaking. And you can see, if you know...
Such smart things were it, though. It's like lighting choices, the design choices, the way the mood is implied, the use of miniatures is incredible.
Yes.
I mean, this set, like this ship is what, 3 feet long or something like that in life?
It was big. Was it 3 feet? I thought it was 3 meters.
3 meters. Okay,
3 meters
sorry.
and like 180 pounds
But so
or something
giant,
like that.
and it was made of like copper.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want it to. They wanted to be able to like move
Flex it and bend it and have it shift. Yeah.
I mean, and there's those scenes where it gets destroyed, so it's like,
Right.
And they only built one, right?
They built the one.
and they were like, okay,
Right.
and they did it like in order.
Yeah.
In case the reason why they shot it in order like that was so that when an actor died, they could be like goodbye,
Right.
save budget,
Yeah.
and then like move on to the next scene. So they were shooting it like in order,
Yeah.
which is pretty unheard of at this point, these days, you know. But yeah, I remember reading like that aspect and being like, oh yeah, that's.
Well, and with that practical aspect of the sets and the matte paintings, and then even with the miniatures, there's all the folks that are in the robot suits, and then we've got Vincent and Bob, these kind of two R2D2
They had multiple
attempts.
versions of them.
Yeah. Well, and did you see any of the cool trivia stuff about Bob?
Yeah, about how
He's beat up.
He was basically a clay maquette.
Yeah, it was a clay mold that they had built it off of.
And they were like, the director looked at this and was like, he doesn't look beat up enough. So he grabs a baseball bat and starts beating it. And then they cast it from that.
Right, yeah.
Which probably why he's like got those soft, looking.
Right.
I had the toys of these guys.
I built a Vincent when I was a kid.
I had a Vincent little Vincent toy.
Oh, that's so cool.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if it was like one of the sought after ones or if I got it like from like Hardee's or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know some of them were in cereal, but they were like the green ones. But this was like, I remember physically holding this thing because I was like, I was obsessed with that robot.
Yeah.
I guess I must have loved like Roddy McDowell's voice or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And just that he was just I wasn't really allowed to get into Star Wars. So this was kind of like, I mean, but didn't that kind of happen around the same time?
Right, yeah. 79 is when this came out. Like a lot of things were really starting to come out. Things that had sort of been on the shelves for a while
like
were
a
starting to
zeitgeist.
come out, right?
So
because of what that is.
When did Star Wars?
Star Wars was 77.
Okay, so I wasn't allowed to watch Star Wars, whatever reason. Yeah.
Not a good one.
Not a good one. Silly one. So I never really got into Star Wars. And I think that this, for whatever reason, was okay.
Did the Disney title
I guess,
somehow make
well,
it
like
all right?
looking back at it, like now, and especially like the ending and the philosophical, dread, the existential dread that comes with it is like, makes me wonder if that planted that seed in my young mind, like that made me so interested in like transhumanism and whatnot, because there's this conversation they're all having at dinner when they first meet Dr. Reinhardt.
Maximilian Schell, yeah.
And then he like brings his robot Maximilian out and discussing the elements of humanity and robotics as the extensions of ourselves and our will, and I think that might have like planted this tiny seed in my young mind that was like carried me into my college years, where I wanted to discuss the idea of the ethics behind humanity and evolution of technology.
Yeah. I think this is an excellent segue to talk about those story elements and what we get into, because this film is fascinating. What they were trying to cover, what they did cover and go through and discuss on here, because once we get into Reinhardt and his survival, and there's a weird thing happening. So we have a conspiracy and kind of this haunted house feeling spaceship. But we get into his narcissistic drive, God complex, exactly, of what he is trying to achieve. And as we start to learn that the crew didn't all leave, that he's turned them into these little units for
Spoiler
him
alert
on there.
from this movie from
1979,
years ago,
right?
47 years ago.
Right. So, he's done all of this to the crew to accomplish his mission, as well as because he built the Sentry robots helping him overtake the whole ship. But so now we're there with the crew of the Palomino, and we start to talk about this, and there are even moments where Anthony
I'm leaving out even silly stuff like the psychic stuff.
Oh, there was the psychic aspect. Yeah, the robots have the ability, well, not all the robots, but the Vincent and the Bob units have the ability to have a psychic connection, which is never explained ever with certain people.
No, with Mew.
Yes.
She is a psychic.
Can you reach Vincent with your ESP? I'll try. Whoa, 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 whoa. And his eyes get little tiny glowing things running around there, and it's like, what?
Sorry to interrupt you on that.
No.
I just forgot.
That was a weird choice too when that was happening, because I had forgotten that. And
the guy who wrote this book was trying to when he read the script for the movie, he was like,
Alan Dean Foster, the classic guy who wrote the short novelization of movies at the time, because he did Star Wars and then he did Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
He did, and so when he read the script, he was like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And so he tried really hard to make sense of it. And so this kind of the book,
just put an implant in him.
Well, right. But is this an era of us knowing implants? Conceptually?
I guess really they hadn't. I mean, there must have been somewhere something. The next Star Wars film had people that had cybernetic implants. There's a guy that's Lobot who is on Cloud City, who's on Bespin with
You are speaking
Lando.
a different language.
Yeah.
I'm like, who?
Yeah, Lobot.
I know Lando.
Lobot is a guy that is on Bespin and he's the security guy. He's a bald head, but he has this whole
Is it established that this is an implant? Did we discuss this in the movie?
No, it's not discussed. They don't have to.
So that's what I'm saying.
It is visually represented, and he communicates to Lobot with that thing on. So, yeah.
But I'm just thinking maybe the theaters didn't have the foresight. Yes.
It very well could be.
But he tried to make sense of it. And one of the things that I liked about the book, having read it recently, because honestly, when I knew we were going to do this episode for about a month now, and I was like, I'm buying the book, because I collect novelizations of film novelizations. It's one of my little collection hobby things. Mm-hmm. And he does have you ever read As I Lay Dying?
No, I haven't.
Okay. The idea that you are hearing the thoughts of other people. Mm-hmm. So that has a lot of that in there, which helps move the story along a little bit.
Okay.
It's still is wild and all over the place, but there's some good writing in this, honestly, that I was like, oh, yeah, if they had put that in there, maybe if we had heard inner conversations more, there would have been a little bit more plot. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this movie suffers from that. Some people, I think Siskel and Ebert panned it, saying it was boring and too intense or whatever.
Sure.
But this has, the book brought elements that would have been interesting, probably to fill out the story a little bit, so you didn't have those kind of long run times of what is happening and
Yeah.
And honestly, if we were gonna go back to characters and the movie, the young guy, forgettable.
Oh yeah.
I was when I rewatched this film, I was all, oh yeah, there was another guy.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I mean, I remember Ernest Borgnine. He's the coward.
He's literally guy in Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you're the plucky sidekick, or maybe you're the
Yeah. That's exactly, because he really has there's nothing
it's Sam Rockwell's character.
There's nothing interesting about him.
Right.
I mean, like, we have Anthony Perkins, who is the sycophantic doctor, who is like, he is a great fan of,
He's
Reinhardt's
feeding
work.
that God complex.
Right. And then we have Ernest Borgnine, who's a coward, and he's an aging man.
Who had been critical of Reinhardt in the past.
Correct.
In his science writings.
Yes. And then we have, our lead hero, Robert Forster, who's like our hotshot. So I feel really bad because when I rewatched this, I was like, oh, I forgot that there's a fourth guy.
There's our Sam Rockwell character.
Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, Mew has more lines than he does for sure.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, so I'll tell you, this is one of those movies where if I ever had the most where I could relate on subject matter to our former Kaiju cast
This is definitely
co-host. This is part of that because I never got the Godzilla films the way other people did because I didn't grow up watching them.
Same.
And so I was less forgiving for certain aspects of it, and I didn't get that feeling. I knew where everyone was coming from.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get it.
You weren't having the nostalgia hit.
It wasn't a nostalgia hit, but this
Yeah.
film isn't. I can
Me
look
too.
at the flaws of this thing, and I can see all of that. I can absolutely see where Siskel and Ebert would pan this thing. The whole shoot-off where we've got Star is the Sentry robot who is target practicing.
Oh my God.
And then Vincent and
most
Bob go in there.
Ridiculous scene ever.
And it goes on for a while. That's a long scene. It spends a lot of time, and
Yeah.
it does nothing for the story whatsoever. It is the biggest time waster that accomplishes nothing, and it's so silly. But I can sit there and watch that
But
in
it's
this
so
thing
fun
and
to
love
watch.
it. Right, exactly.
Because I just love the rapport of watching Slim Pickens and Roddy McDowell, Bob and
Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah.
I don't know why I suddenly blanked on the name, but having the two of them have discourse.
Right.
And what they do, what that scene does entail, is a little bit of what is it? Not foreshadowing, but they are moving the story along a little bit because they have a conversation talking about the inner people on the ship. And then
Yes.
Bob does go like, oh, I really think that those are actually the crew, I should tell you.
Yes, this
And
wins
so
over.
This gives
yeah.
us our oh moment,
Right.
right? And so now we've nailed home the fact that this is for real. This is exactly what's happening. That
Yeah.
the crew have been murdered and turned into robots.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That very long, almost unnecessary, yet very fun to watch scene
Sure.
with one singular Sentry robot that's the lead of them all, Star. But what that does is that has Bob realize, oh, these folks are good folks. They're on the right side.
Yeah.
There's maybe a chance to get out of this. And these robots are all extremely sentient and expressive in their emotions. So
I know.
it wins him over with Vincent. And it's like, hey, I got to warn you all. This is a thing that's happening. You need to know and you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does move that start of the
I think
the
that's
story
another
along.
reason
It
why
just
I
takes a
like
little
these
bit.
robots.
Yeah.
I think I remember really liking them because of they were
Very expressive. They're very emotional.
They feel
Yeah.
they're they have connections and they're concerned and they also have self-driving goals too.
Right.
Like Bob's like, oh, can you take me with you?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. So if we're doing like comparisons, because this happens all the time, I'll do this one really quick. Hopefully I won't do it again. But if we were to take someone like Vincent and compare him to C-3PO, where we've got robots that are being emotional in scenes, and C-3PO is meant to be a human relations robot. They know dialects and languages and all of this,
Sure.
and they're meant to interface with certain things. So we could just pretend like, okay, this is what they're programmed with, a sort of personality so that they can be able to have a dialogue between people, races, species.
Yeah.
As opposed to Vincent is just obviously this unit. We don't have multi-species stuff. He is a variety of things. He's a repair robot. He's a part of the crew. He is security. He's all of these things. So there's no real reason for him to have emotion to the extent that he does, but it's not just emotional. He's philosophical through the whole thing and brings up a lot of very deep philosophical quotes from literature and philosophers about the situations they're in. And it's really cool, especially as a kid who was 8 watching this. This is
broke
like
my brain.
Yeah, this is starting to like open up stuff of like, oh my goodness, there's Dante's Inferno and Milton and like all this stuff is happening. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy. I'm excited for when we get into that, because that leads into that whole like funky, third act piece that's in there. I'm so excited to talk about all of that when we get to it.
One of the things that I loved that was in the book was that he described the going through the black hole as a spaghettiization.
Yeah.
In the book.
Yeah.
I wish they had said that in the movie, because and then it's actually a thing.
And that is now a thing.
Yeah.
That is now how a lot of the description is.
That what would happen to you
of the possibility of what time and matter would go through.
Is a spaghettiization.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's interesting too. So, me taking off on another little side thing, but I was actually reading recently about how, the whole idea of the Big Bang Big Crunch hypothesis of our current representation of the universe, and what a lot of people are now starting to really hypothesize is that our segment of the universe passed through a black hole. So whatever was prior to went through a black hole, that's the crunch. And then the expansion on the other side, and then whatever like matter did its thing and went all apart, and then started to reassemble as it does into eventually stars and nebulas, and then making planets and everything over the course of billions of years. But that's our local representation, and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Like, I love the idea of all of that we were
then we became our sentient selves and thinking we're the only creatures in the universe.
That's right. We're the only ones that are important. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, yeah, this film. Well, I find it very interesting. This film very much feels like there's a little bit of a tug of war, and I don't think that it fails in any aspect, but it's very much a tug of war in being for kids, but being for adults.
Well, and this was the first PG movie that Disney did.
Yes.
And they were taking a chance on it. And this is 1979, early 80s PG.
Yeah.
Which was the horrifying death scene of Anthony Perkins' Hopkins' character.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I remember
Anthony
in my
Perkins.
Head, Anthony Perkins. Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Anthony Hopkins is, oh boy.
That's a different movie.
Ay.
That's a different horror film.
So many. No, I remember in my head, because my child brain added way more to it. So when I saw the scene where he's trying to, like, where Maximilian goes in and starts spinning, and he gets like
the spinning blade arm,
and you're like spaghettiization of his guts. My kid brain thought it was way more gory, and then looking at it now as an adult, I'm like, oh. And then he holds up a book, and I was like, oh, he's trying to protect himself with knowledge. Hey.
He attempts to, but that's so tame because, we do see Anthony Perkins kind of gyrate a bunch, and it, when it hits and all this, and he falls down and and the stunt person falls in such a way that you never get to see that front. It's very particular, and they roll and all of that.
Which I think is smart because it
hides
it's
very smart. It does hide it, but
if we
today
saw that
you'd have had
fucking.
Oh man, it would have been Raiders of the Lost Ark when that guy gets hit by the props on that plane, and it's just spatter effect. Like there'd have been spatter all over the place on this thing,
and he would have been like,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was wild. But I think my kid brain literally put more into that than was actually there. So
yeah.
Upon rewatch, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Pretty tame, yeah. Because we've seen the volume turned up a little bit on stuff since then, but yeah, that's pretty darn scary and happens pretty quick too. Like they're trying to get out of there, and the door on the elevator gets closed on him.
But that's why it's a third act, right?
Yeah.
Third act, everybody starts running.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
Yeah. Bad guys close in.
Everybody's running.
Yeah.
It's the third act.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
weird psychology stuff too that's happening too. That's so much fun because. So Anthony Perkins gets killed in all of that stuff, and then we've got Mimu is in there, and Reinhardt comes over and, he's trying to talk to her. And it's like, save me. I want you to save me. I think Maximilian is out of control. I don't.
But
and
do you
and she
think-
calls it and she like calls him out. It's like, no. And then he like kind of switches back. And it's like, Maximilian, take care of her. Off to the little brainification jobby to turn her into one of our units. And it's
Which
like,
would
oh,
be
this
such a
is
waste
fun.
since she's an Esper, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows that or not. Does he know that she's
Yeah,
got the
because I think
communication?
he remembers he says something. That's the reason why they're not able to communicate on the ship, because there's a blockage on the
Right.
ship, and he's got an effect happening. Whereas, like when she gets back on the Palomino,
Right.
or
He's able to block the communications that are like ship to ship, ship to
Also-
robot, all of that stuff, but he can't block the ESP thing. So maybe he did remember or just knew that was a thing, was able to shut it down.
yeah, I think if I remember properly, I could be adding into this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
I mean,
still fun.
I've watched it like 3 days ago, and I'm still like, hey.
It's so much fun. Do you want to talk about kind of the literature,
Wow.
religious, philosophical aspects that really start playing
I think this
into
is
our
where
2001
the
ending?
departure. Well, and also when you talk about the 2001 ending, you realize that the same artist did the artwork for the poster for 2001,
yeah.
as well as the black hole.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that was a
Of
fun
course.
trivia. Of course.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing, of course.
Right.
Anyways, again, one of those things I've been like, it's like my holy grail, like movie poster collection. I really want a Danger Diabolic, and I really want a 1979 Black Hole.
Did you see that Danger Diabolic was playing here recently at
Yeah.
Cinemagic?
Yeah.
Yeah, the timing was off. I was
It was
actually
the
going to
new
reach
stuff.
out to you and say, "Hey, do you want to go see it?" And I had something already going on then. It's like, "Oh, I can't,"
I
but
love that
if
movie.
that evening had been free, I was going to say, "Let's go watch Danger Diabolic on the big screen." I was so
Oh
bummed I
my
couldn't.
gosh, I want to do almost want to do find a theater to show all of the movies. That'd be really fun.
Yeah. For all of you that don't realize it, Danger Diabolic was one of our early episodes, like episode 3 or 4
Mm-hmm.
early on. So go back and check that out, and I'll pin it at the end of this thing. So yeah. Oh, good film.
That was good.
That was fun.
A Mother Use of Miniatures movie that we
Oh
really like.
man,
See,
I know. We have a theme.
we do well. I think what we do, not to totally sidebar off of like the premise at hand, but like what we do on this show is that we talk about like movie magic, and like these are the things that we love, and like we're gonna be talking about it at one of our panels if we get it.
Yeah, hopefully so. You could, if we get it, you could come to Fan Expo and watch us do a live show. So we'll see. That would be
Terrifying.
so much fun. Oh my goodness. So,
But back to the third act.
Oh, this third act.
Man, I don't feel like things go off the rails. I don't think there's any loss of momentum. It just picks right up.
Yeah.
Like things start happening. Ernest Borgnine cowards out and leaves them.
Yeah. So they have a whole plan
Yeah.
to try to get out of there.
Get onto the ship.
And make a break for it. And because there had been that setup was Reinhardt was like, I want you to document me going into the black hole. This is going to be, and
yeah.
really he's setting them up so he can kill them all, get rid of their ship, and then slip through.
Right.
And they're kind of playing into it for a bit.
Which seems like, why would he do that?
It's extra steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems extra.
Yeah.
Because I know that he doesn't want his secret discovered, because once he realizes that they know that he's murdered the crew, does he feel like they're going to be able to stop him?
I think that what they're trying to do is create some stakes. I'm sure somebody was like, well, wait, that doesn't make sense. It's like, no, we just got to go through because we just need him to do this. We need to get Ernest Borgnine. We need to put them in certain degrees of peril. We need to remove the Palomino from the equation of all of this stuff, so then they don't have any choices. We've eventually got to get them to that one the ship that they keep the sensor ship that they keep sending into the black hole to test it. Like they're trying to get him, and it's just like, we just got to get him there. I understand that there are logical missteps along the way. We just got to I really think that that's what they're doing. They're like, we just got to get him there.
Right.
And most people aren't going to notice.
Yeah, I think like that's the part where there's a disconnect that a lot of critics saw.
Yeah. And I get the idea of them thinking that they're going to escape and they're trying to do all of that and try to get back onto the Palomino, and Ernest Borgnine's character kind of doing what he did. All of that makes sense. Yeah, it's Reinhardt's idea of, I'm going to let you guys launch and then film me doing this thing because you're going to honestly...
You're going to witness history.
And really, and when his idea of like, I'm just going to have them launch and I'm going to blow them up, and it's like, well, that's where the extra steps are. It's like, just take care of them. Just kill these guys. All right. It's like the James Bond character, I guess. And it's like, no, I'm going to put you into an extremely slow
and I think that's the element of that era, though, because another incestuous thing. The guy who did the overture music as well, worked on James Bond film. He was straight off of a James Bond film working on this.
Yeah.
So it's like there are so many of those things that I guess it was that era of films.
There's something about this music that I noticed while I was listening to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I gotta call this out. There are parts of that overture, and I was like, where have I heard this? Where have I heard this from? It's Dr. Evil's music in Austin Powers. There are moments where I'm like, holy crap, Austin Powers kind of pulled from this a little bit.
Well,
these big swelling trumpet overtures that are happening, and it's like, holy shit.
We talked about that, though.
Yeah.
How smart, stupid as Austin Powers was.
Right.
Because it's such a great play of that era of film. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Go
just
on
an interesting, and I think that kind of shows the influence that a lot of these filmmakers had and what they created.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning just the fact that this was their first PG film. I think this was one of the early stages of them creating Touchstone Pictures so that it could not have a Disney label to it, and they could go and make those other films. And I remember, what was the first R-rated one with Nick Nolte that they did? There was an R-rated Touchstone Nick Nolte film.
Was it 24? Was it 24 hour? Or
It was him as like a
cop.
I think he was a writer, like an alcoholic writer, and somebody crashes his house. I remember a scene with somebody crashing his house and is in the pool. Ah, man, what the heck is that film? I'd have to go back and go look at it, but it was like the first R-rated film that Touchstone did as a Disney-owned company, and it was a really big deal at the time when that happened. Yeah. So so this kind of sets that stage for it. But as I was saying again, or a little earlier, is that this has that feel where it's like, oh, they're trying to be I find that whole part with, again, the shootout part between the Century robots
kind
of
of silly.
That's for kids. The kids are going to enjoy these robots sitting there going, butcha, butcha, butcha.
And I think that was the intention was to be able to keep that kind of the innocent, the silliness.
Right.
And I think that's what keeps this film from teetering into way darker territory.
Right.
Because you have those elements.
Yeah.
And
helps sell some merchandise maybe a little bit too,
and
fall in love with the robots.
Make people into heroes into this one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we keep hinting at it though, but I want to bring us back around to this third act and the
Dante's Inferno, you mean?
Yeah, all of this stuff. So they finally do make their escape they don't get to escape on the Palomino because
the Palomino
crashes into everything. Everything happens at once.
And it's spectacular. It is a spectacle. The set imploding in on itself.
Yeah.
The
fireballs
fireballs
and everything. Yeah.
The miniatures melting. And the copper wiring melting. It's just so fucking spectacular.
Yeah, there's 4 things happening at once. So the the Cygnus has been ordered. It's going to go into the black hole.
Right.
We've got Ernest Borgnine escaping on the Palomino and not knowing how to fly the ship, so he starts wrecking into it.
Right.
Right as that happens, there's a meteor storm that's coming through. So now we've got all these fantastic meteors flying around them and bouncing into the ship, and our heroes are trying to make it into that observation ship,
right,
so that they can escape because the Palomino is gone. And so all of this is happening at the same time.
You
it's like
coward!
folks are just like stuff's running everywhere at this point in time.
Third act, baby.
Yeah, it is, man. It's so great. And we have Reinhardt ends up having a big catwalk fall on him and pin him as Maximilian
And he
is
says, "Help
leaving.
me, Maximilian."
Right as the elevator closes,
And
right.
Maximilian's like, yeah.
No, which is weird. It feels like Maximilian is like, nope, I'm gonna go kill the bad guys. That's the thing. This shit's over with. So I'm gonna go get my revenge. The thing never makes any noise. Really.
It does have a noise, actually. It's made from the sound of a panther and I think like a water.
It's like whirring noises and
yeah,
whatnot.
but it's made vocal. They created that sound.
But we don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, he's not saying
or at least
anything.
I didn't know what he's saying.
He's
it's
not saying
making
anything.
noises. Yeah.
Yeah, but his sound is like his voice is a panther mixed with like something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he's going because I guess he wants to go take out Vincent and Bob and the rest of the crew. It's like, nope, this is all done with. I'm gonna go kill them.
Why would he give a robot emotion like that?
Right.
Jealousy.
Yep.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yep. I don't know why either,
But it makes for
definitely
a
did it.
fun movie.
It
right?
does make for fun stuff. Well, we saw it in Star, the lead sentry robot. Basically has arrogance and is showing off. Even the attempt at trying to twirl guns when it would do the shooting thing and it would twirl its hands like that and then put its pistols
But
away.
in that though, because we find out that the crew are actually the robots, so that makes sense to me.
The crew were, but the sentries weren't. The sentries were just pure robots, weren't they?
I wasn't sure.
I think because we see them blow up a lot and there's no body inside of them, where when we see the face mask pulled off of the crew,
Which is the director,
there's the human.
right?
Oh, is that the director?
Yeah, the first reveal.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's the
I didn't
director.
know that. Oh, man, there was some good makeup, man. That thing was like gaunt and scary. Yeah.
Barely had that PG rating. Just saying.
Yeah, and just like the sucking noise of it breathing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So good. But so everybody's running and making a break for it, and we've got our we kind of have our little showdown with Bob and Vincent and Maximilian. Man, Maximilian like comes crashing through a wall at one point in time and
But the
like
fact that
blades out and,
wanted vengeance and it's like retribution or whatever, you're just like, what is happening?
yeah.
Maximilian, help me. Peace.
Nope. Yeah, it's crazy. And
Why wouldn't it self-serve to keep its creator alive?
who knows at this point in time? Like, this is where it is kind of a little bit off the
All right,
rails,
yeah.
and they have put emotion in these robots. So now we've got stuff acting on principles that aren't being expressed in any way. Like, they're not
Right.
telling us, and
There's
they're not
no
communicating.
morality.
So we're really just watching stuff kind of play out and having our own. Like, I just have to assume that. Because I've always assumed that Maximilian was like the other crew, and that was probably like some kind of a human unit inside of that thing.
Yeah.
Which is why we get that play at the end of the merge stuff, which we'll talk.
The spaghettiization.
Yeah. But there was no reason for Maximilian to be that kind of a size and shape unless you had like some kind of a Darth Vader torso inside of it.
Oh man, there was so much stuff talking about those robots. By the way, like
Yeah.
the designs that they went through. There was one point where they almost looked like Cylons, and they were like, "Oh, we can't pull that because they look like Cylons."
Yeah.
But they had to have backpacks on them originally, and they were like, "Nope, we can't do that."
All that stuff is so hard to pull off. It's hard to move. It's hard to
Yeah, they couldn't see out of the face. They could only see out of the mouth.
see. Yeah.
Like, oh, boy.
some of my Star Wars cosplays are that way. I've got some of my helmets are such that I can see straight ahead in my helmet and I can't see other things. And I've been at conventions where I've had kids that have wanted to come up and like have their picture taken and have a hug with me. And I have literally
Not seen them.
taken my shoulders and I've lifted my shoulders up because it'll lift my helmet up a little bit and it'll turn my head inside the helmet and set it back down. because they can't see me, where I've got like a little bit of an angle, because I can look down through the hole of the neck to see that, oh, that's a kid that is like standing next to me and holding onto my leg for a picture. And then I'll like shift my head back inside because I can't see.
Oh,
You can't see
wow.
out of like this little stupid slit for my helmet.
Wow.
You can't look down and you can't turn your head because the head is like bumping into the armor, and it's the stuff that they're going through. There's nothing to see through. So yeah, all you got's like the mouth breather hole
boy.
maybe or something. Yeah. Oh, it's a good time. Yeah, it's fun stuff. But yeah, so we have all of that mayhem is going on, and our crew gets over to that ship to be able to get out of there. I want to talk about this whole Dante's Inferno thing, because they end up going into the black hole. There's no way out.
Right.
They're stuck.
That's the
Everything's getting
unfortunate
sucked
thing,
in.
is that everybody, where there was no escape at this
Right.
point. So it's just a matter of whether or not you're going to be on the ship that's going to implode, or if you're going to be just going into the observatory ship.
Right.
So there was just no getting around this.
Which they were hoping that thing was supposedly like built under the idea it could survive.
Correct.
But nobody knew because it hadn't passed through yet.
Right. And or had never had a person as well pass into it.
Exactly.
So they had no idea what's going to happen there. So it was just like, this is either or situation. And we get a couple of visuals here. One being the Cygnus.
Cygnus is going through and crumbling apart.
And it's coming apart, and we kind of get like this pull out of like asteroids and a field of like fire, and then their ship gets pulled through, and we get brought through this like beautiful sanctuary of light.
That's so cool.
And with this like kind of angelic form, which I wish they had taken out that angelic form, because I didn't feel like that was necessary. But like if they had just been going through that like cathedral of light, essentially.
It's like silver glass.
Yeah, it looks like mirror reflecting light, but it reminds me of the Arrival a little bit. Or am I thinking of The Arrival? The one with Jodie Foster in it.
Contact.
It reminds me of Contact for some reason. There's that where she's in that alternate.
Yeah, she's basically in the passageway that is sending a person to wherever it is that they're going to have their final communication.
And Interstellar also has a moment like that.
Interstellar, very much so.
Yeah, so that's these all like I feel like we're influenced from this, because there is the shaft of light essentially that they go through,
and we're coming into this time dilation and what that means for them.
Everybody's flipping around. So they had what they had set up for this scene was like a stationary seat.
Yeah.
And then there was a rotating aspect on the outside.
Yeah.
That was capturing that. Like.
Yeah. Basically, if the ship is doing whatever, they're going to be somewhat stationary inside. The ship can tumble as it needs.
But the camera was set up to have like shoot images of them as they were going. So that's why you have that kind of like stop photographic framed aspect.
Yep.
Oh man, that was so smart. And then it's kind of set up to where they're going into the light, whereas Reinhardt's going into the darkness.
Right.
And then merges with Maximilian.
Right.
Which philosophically
it's
is
all metaphysical at this point in time now.
What he was talking about, because he was talking about the amalgamation of dare I say, the transhumanist aspect of becoming more machine and the symmetry of that. And
his God complex.
But he's in the Inferno aspect of it, it is a vanity. And so
ego,
where he's standing on the edge of that, like
because he has his minions all there,
and those are
as
all
he's
miniatures,
looking
by
down.
the way.
I know this whole thing. That whole thing.
The whole set
is a whole practical mini set with that moving camera rig again. It's amazing with all the fire and flames,
which they had to get permission from like the fire department, because they did this like on set.
Yes.
So the fire department was like ready, when this happened.
Yeah, we literally take this one long camera pass journey from Maximilian. Well, and we start with the visor and the eyes looking through there, and we pull back, and it's like, oh, Reinhardt has merged with Maximilian, and it's all transcendental. This is all metaphysical. This is all like weird, happening in their minds or metaphorical interpretation of now what's happened to them in death or having crossed the event horizon. And exactly. Horizon? So what?
Or is this death? Is this hell?
Yeah.
And they went to heaven.
Yeah. So it's so crazy, and it pulls back. So we've got the person looking through the visor. We see the visor. We see that it's Maximilian. We see Maximilian standing up on the ridge. We pass out from the ridge, and then that's where that big camera sweep starts to move across the minions and the fire and all of the
hellscape.
Arches of hellscape and everything. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so beautiful.
The way it's lit and the way it's all done, and it's shot at a high frame rate. Oh, the score is just so good.
Just bringing it along, and it's just those are the things that stand out about this, and are so thoughtful thoughtful to the audience as well. I mean, as well as being great to these actors, getting to get to play in this, arena.
Right.
But the thoughtfulness of treating your audience like they're smart enough to figure this out. No, we were children, but it's planted seeds. I am obsessed. I mean, we talked about multiple times. I love Dante's Inferno. I've owned multiple copies of it because it is one of my more. I just think it's such it's so fascinating. It's a very. I hate to say moral. I mean, it's a morality tale, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And I think that even though it's a very Christian dogmatic thing, I think it's just such an interesting way of retelling, making it sins tangible and sins you're actually going to pay for them kind of situation. So if you are a liar, you're in hell, you'll have an asshole for a mouth and you only shit words. Or a flatterer, right? Or if you commit suicide, you're damned to forever be trapped in a forest where, as your limbs break off, you tell your woes. You know, those morality aspects. I think is what make that so poignant in this film, especially this ending with Maximilian with Reinhardt getting his just desserts.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted. He talked about this divinity of human and machine. So he just didn't get to retain his original self.
Right.
And the black hole made this possible. Or he died and went to hell. This is all neurons firing in the end of the world.
Yeah.
With them as well. They end up going through this angelic light cathedral, heaven, what have you, and angels. And then we kind of have a 2001 ending.
Yeah.
Except for no space babies.
No space babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, then they tried to continue this story into a comic series.
Oh, okay.
That were kind of it was called Further Adventures into the Black Hole, I think I remember reading. And it kind of goes on to their journey. They become they kind of end up having a Star Trek experience where they kind of go from place to place.
Oh my God, I would love to find that. And
the series didn't finish either. So it was left on a cliffhanger in the comic. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So this film is so special and so amazing.
It really is. And I'll tell you, this is interesting timing, I believe, with the fact that we have Tron Ares out now, the third installment of it. I haven't seen it. I was not a fan of Tron Legacy, so I am not going to watch.
Tron Legacy had a two black hole Easter eggs.
Yes, I saw
the poster,
that. Yeah, there's a poster of that in there.
And then a tiny toy up in the corner.
Yeah. Playing into it, but I find the Black Hole to be a better and more interesting film than Tron was, and Tron was meant to be, an exploration in storytelling too, with the idea of all of the visual effects and the idea of going into a computer and participating in that, and what are the ethical ramifications, as well as whatever adventure you go on.
Well, and it also played upon our fears of like what
The
new
technology
technology was going to be.
Yeah.
This doesn't have any direct feelings like that.
Exactly.
That's what I find more interesting about this film in general, besides it being like, I think what I loved about Tron was that I went to the Academy Film Museum when I was in LA last year, and I got to see, like, they were somehow serendipitously they were having a cyberpunk exhibit, and they had all of Mobius's storyboard art for Tron. And that I was like, I have chills thinking about it, because it was something I'd never had seen before. I was so blown away by physically seeing this.
Yeah. Did they have any of the Jodorowsky stuff in there that
had
Mobius did?
They had mostly, like, they were like focused on different films. Like they had a bunch of Cronenberg stuff. Like they had like Existence and stuff like that, and Naked Lunch.
Yeah.
And then they had the Videodrome helmet.
Yeah.
So they had some really cool, like, those things, but they didn't have everything. One of the other really cool things was they had the Blade Runner painting, the matte painting that they showed that was actually lit up by tiny light bulbs.
Yeah.
And that's what made the background for Blade Runner. And I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So amazing.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this, circling back to the black hole, Jodorowsky. I'm glad Jodorowsky didn't make this. Oh boy, I'd have been upset. It wouldn't have been.
It'd have been 4 hours long, and his kid would have been naked at some point in time.
It wouldn't have been this film. I mean, it just wouldn't have been this heartfelt. Every time I watch this movie, I see something new that I love. This is one of those films that always makes me think about, this is why I love filmmaking, and what probably planted many seeds in my child brain of, like, falling in love with the like little bit darker side of stuff, like loving a great story plot, but like what it inspired and what its inspirations come from. I think those are also part of what makes this such a special movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great film. This is an excellent pick.
Thanks.
This was so good. And this is one of those films, like I said, I saw it in a theater when I was 8 in 79, and even though probably prior to this discussion I couldn't have gone through and said, this is why I'm a filmmaker, but I go and watch it like I did for this, and it's like, oh yeah, this is why I'm a filmmaker. Well,
I think that's what ultimately there's films of this that in our childhood that were something special and something that isn't done anymore. And I hate to sound so boomery when I say that, but like, they don't make them like they used to. They're starting to again, but I think we're starting to have a good merge of new and old. I mean, we said this earlier. We're talking about Del Toro. There are, I think there are filmmakers that really love those elements of filmmaking and like having a more of a physical element to it, a more tangible element. And so this this is kind of, I feel like there are a lot of filmmakers these days that are trying to come back to that.
Right.
Because I think that they recognize that people will always flock to art. They may not be blockbusters, but, like you always say, getting films out there is a miracle.
It is. And I think part of that too is that, I think I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but Scorsese talking about us shooting in the digital world where, people aren't directing anymore. They're choosing, because you can just shoot for free. You don't have to rehearse. You can just shoot things multiple times over and over and over again, because it's all just shooting onto a little hard drive, and it's fast. You don't have to worry about your dailies. You can literally watch it right there. Budgets have gotten big enough on enough things where they can go through, make a cut, show it to a test screening, and go, oh, those things didn't work, so we're now going to just throw you some more money, and you're going to go reshoot this thing to make it more appeasing to an audience. And so you don't have to be directing. You can just be a chooser. You can choose whatever pieces all fit together for the most amount of people to be able to watch something, as opposed to making artistic decisions. And I think that's an aspect that I want to be able to see come back, in people being able to allowed to be directors, and being able to have a voice and be able to do certain things. And I guess, when you make a movie for $300 million, the expectation is you better make $1 billion off of it. Okay, that can exist, and those do exist, and I've paid into those, and I've watched them. But
lots of popcorn audiences for
absolutely,
those. And those are what those films are made for.
Yep.
But I feel like when we see something like Frankenstein, since it's so topical,
right?
This is, it was gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, but also the film breathes. And that's a thing that doesn't always happen when you do have those big budgets and you do have to appeal to a lot of people. There is a certain, I guess, social media aspect of it, in that it has to keep moving. If it's the thing that's not, you're scrolling through it, A lot of the things are, I'm keeping you interested just enough to keep you going to the next thing. And it's another spectacle and another. And that doesn't mean that they're not good or interesting. I think if you make 25 of them in a decade and a half, you start running out of steam, because you don't know what you're scrolling through anymore.
Yeah.
But for a while they can be interesting. But I love the idea of films that can breathe and know when you can kind of pull it back and have moments and spend time in that moment. And then when you can accelerate that, a movie that we may do at some point in time in this that I am a big fan of, it's a romantic comedy. And one of the few that I like is Roxanne from the 80s with Steve Martin. And you watch that film, and it's actually a film of a lot of one-shots, because it has a very play-like aspect to the way the scenes are, because they gave actors things to do. People actually are existing in their life, and they're having conversations. So you're actually in scenes that breathe. They have time. They play out as if these were things. You're not having to rush to the next thing. I think Frankenstein does that. There's a lot of aspects of this film where they do that, where you're spending time in the scene and you can see the beauty of the physical aspects of what it's done, and you can feel some of the horror that is in there. You can see the technical aspects that they're talking about when they're looking at the robot and human interfaces. There's just... And I think that's the aspect that I miss about some film storytelling, is that breathing, that staying with something for a little while.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This was a great film to have that discussion about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was great.
I'm glad this one worked out. Your pick's next.
I know, my pick is next, and I'm more of a modern film from 2022.
Oh, so like a pandemic film.
It is. It was a pandemic film. It's The Menu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a really
chef.
Crazy, sort of a slow boil horror thriller. Yeah. Disguised as a foodie film.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks so much for this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And as always, this was the Check the Gate podcast. And again, folks, we don't have a Patreon. We're not making any money off of this. We really just like it when folks watch and participate in the conversation. Feel free to do so with us if you see this on YouTube or Instagram. Comment on it. Have a discussion. Message us, anything like that. We just want to have a discussion with you the same way we're having a discussion with us, because we just really love watching films and talking about them. And Gretchen, I just really love watching films and talking about them with you.
You as well, man.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk to us, you can talk to us through Check the Gate Podcast on Instagram, or we'll react to your comments in the comment section on YouTube as well.
Absolutely. And you can download us in any of those other places. And we do have a website that's not complete yet, but
We're
it
still
is
working
there.
on it.
It is up and running. I just
Yeah.
don't have all our episodes up on it yet. So until next time, Gretchen, thanks so much.
Thanks.